Hey everyone, it's Brian here. Ever puzzled over the hill descent control fault alert on your Ford? Let me shed some light on it. The Hill Descent Control System, or HDC, is essentially an advanced cruise control-like system specifically devised for steep hills navigation. It utilizes the anti-lock brakes and traction control technology pre-equipped in your vehicle to sustain a steady speed while descending. As your ride goes downhill, HDC continuously tweaks the braking pressure to avoid wheel slippage and maintain the speed you've set. This effectively takes off a significant load of efforts in navigating steep grades, as it decreases your need to rely excessively on brakes or downshift the transmission. The system can regulate speeds between 2 and 20 miles per hour on downhill terrains. So the Hill Descent Control System is a handy tool, but what happens when it malfunctions? Stay tuned to find out. Now let's dive into the leading causes of the Hill Descent Control Fault Alert. It's a bit like detective work, so buckle up. First on our list is a faulty brake switch, usually part number SW6874 for most Ford models. This is the most common culprit. This switch is the tattletale that tells the Hill Descent Control Module when the brake pedal is pressed. If it's playing up, it can't give the proper signal, and this prevents the system from activating. Just imagine tiny switch causing such a big fuss. Secondly, we have the wheel speed sensor, also known as the ABS sensor. These sensors are like the eyes on each wheel, constantly monitoring their speed. If one goes haywire, the Hill Descent Control System won't get accurate wheel speed information, and it just can't do its job properly. The faulty sensor will need to be replaced to get things back on track. Thirdly, low battery voltage can cause a problem. Most of the electronics in your Ford, including the Hill Descent Control, rely heavily on the battery. If the battery voltage dips below a certain point, it may cause the system to malfunction. It's a bit like trying to run a marathon on an empty stomach. It's just not going to work. Next up, we have a false alarm from the battery. Sometimes when reconnecting or replacing the battery, it can cause a few hiccups in the computer system, including false flags for the Hill Descent Control. Often these faults disappear on their own after a battery reset. It's like a bad dream that goes away when you wake up. A faulty or damaged steering rack is another potential cause. The steering rack is the messenger, communicating the vehicle's direction and movement to the computer system. If it's damaged or faulty, it can cause issues with the Hill Descent Control. Lastly, a bad ABS module can be the cause. This module is a key player that the Hill Descent Control relies on. It houses the logic and valves that modulate brake pressure. If it's malfunctioning, it can disrupt the communication and cause problems. So these are some of the factors that can trigger the Hill Descent Control fault warning on your Ford. Let's quickly recap what we've learned today. The Hill Descent Control System in your Ford is an advanced feature that helps maintain a steady speed when descending steep hills. It's like having cruise control for downhill travel. But if it shows a fault, it could be due to a faulty brake switch, a bad wheel speed sensor, low battery voltage, a false alarm from the battery, a damaged steering rack, or a malfunctioning ABS module. Remember, if your Ford's Hill Descent Control shows a fault, it's best to get it checked by a professional. Stay safe on the road, folks.